Hi and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn going solo today with just a single beer here from a brewery I've never had before, a small brewery out of Portland, Maine called Maine Beer Company. Hadn't really heard a lot about these guys, but I was back on the East Coast visiting family and saw this beer and it kind of caught my eye. So I picked it up. I kind of like to do that from time to time. Obviously, when I go to stores in different areas of the country, there's certain beers that I know I can't get in Chicago and that I'm looking for ahead of time. But then I also like to just kind of randomly pick up beers and that I don't really know anything about. And sometimes that works out really well for me. Other times it doesn't. But the last time I did that was the Hoptologist from Knee Deep, I believe it was, out on the West Coast, and that worked out really well. I really enjoyed that IPA. So I figured I would do that again and kind of share it for the first time with you guys. This is, like I said, the Maine Beer Company Peeper Ale. I didn't really look up anything about this beer as far as reviews or ratings on Rate Beer, Beer Advocate. I tend not to really look at beers generally on there anymore. Just personal preference. I think they're great sites. But I did look up a little bit about the beer company. You know, it's funny. Portland, Maine is kind of a small city, but they have at least now 3 breweries that I know of, and there's not a lot of other cities that I can think of where I know 3 different craft breweries, especially not one the size of Portland. So they've got obviously Allagash, they've got Geary's, which is kind of like a long time stalwart of the craft beer movement on the East Coast. Hasn't really made it too far out, just starting to get into the Midwest at least now. And then this guy, Maine Beer Company. So I wanted to look and see a little bit about what these guys were about. They seem pretty altruistic. I think it was 2 brothers who started out as home brewers. You know, it's that same old story again and again. Much more recent. I think these guys are pretty new to the game. And they saw at the time that there wasn't a lot of really hoppy beers available in the Maine market, and they wanted to just make a small local beer company focusing on big hoppy beers. So they figured that they would do it. So they really grew out of a tiny little system. I was reading on their website that they started with a 2-barrel system, which basically means they brewed 4 kegs at a time. That's not a lot of beer at all for a commercial brewery. And, you know, obviously they've gotten larger from now, and they really just have a ethos where they want to have fun what they're doing and they want to do what's right. And I think that's what it says, yeah, right on the bottle, do what's right. And I think part of that is 1% of their profits go to, it's got to be 1% of their profits, or, yeah, no, 1% of sales. So that's a lot more. 1% of all their sales go to environmentally focused nonprofits. So that's very cool that they kind of are putting their money where their mouth is. So that's about the brewery. I don't know a ton about them, but like I said, I kind of wanted to go into a blind. I got it down in Philadelphia, so this beer is somewhat distributed on the East Coast. And this is the Peeper Ale. This is in keeping very much with their beer kind of philosophy. It's a hoppy American beer. So they said, you know, I looked at the born on date, or the bottled on date that we have here, and it is about 110 days old, they say, to try to have it within 90 days. I will say that probably for the past 30 days, or however long it's been since I've been in Philly, it's been sitting in a fridge in the dark, so that's about as good a place as you can store a beer that's hoppy that you want to keep longer. And before that, it wasn't a cooler. I bought it out of a cooler. So it should hold up as well as a 110-day-old beer should be. Now, it's not going to be bad. Beer is not going to go bad in 100 days, but it might not be as big and vibrant. I just want to put that out there. At the same time, this is what you kind of have to expect in the marketplace. So let's just see, you know, what it has to offer. Pouring a full glass. I've only got 1 beer today, so why not? Really looks kind of like a Belgian here, huh? Pretty beer. Huge foamy head here. I'll let it die down just a bit, but it's a light golden beer, pretty clear. You know, it's certainly not filtered, but really nice, clear looking beer. Really strikingly white head with tiny little dense bubbles. It's very kind of foamy or sudsy looking. Pretty attractive looking beer. Smelling the beer, getting my nose right into it, kind of meringue as I read a little bit more. We moved into a bigger garage, our new brewery, with heat. It's nice. I'm not really getting, and maybe the head is kind of suppressing some of the aromatics. I'm not getting a ton of the big American hops that I would expect to get, the citrus, pine, tropics, what have you. That said, what I'm getting is kind of nice. Max is snoring. I'm getting a lovely grain base to it, but it's really light and really clean. There's a nice kind of honeyed granola element to it, as well as some nice kind of like violet or just like flowers, purple flowers, maybe white flowers. Really lovely, subdued but nice. Yeah, maybe a little graham cracker granola thing. Pretty light beer. Dry. When I say dry, I mean it's kind of thin in your mouth, and also no sweetness. Finish is fairly clean. Not a lot of bitterness. Just a very kind of refreshing drink from beginning to end. The hops are certainly there. They meld very well with the malt base. I do get that nice kind of biscuity, light graham cracker, hint of honey, some nice floral component. I really like that, almost like a nutty, like oat or grain, well, like cereal, which, well, malt's a cereal. Very subtle, very nuanced, some nice kind of floral, perfumey qualities to it. Go well with a pretty earth-driven hop profile that I'm picking up here. You know, I have no idea how much the hops have dropped off, but what I'm left with is very enjoyable. Yeah, very kind of aromatic, green, herbaceous hops as well. Some earth and wood here. Very subtly done for as much as is going on. One of the more complex yet nuanced beers that I can remember having. Yeah, herbaceous, a little bit of like kind of maybe green, a little piney. And it goes so well with that kind of honeyed granola. I know I'm saying the same thing over and over, but it's really a well put together beer. I was thinking about doing a show just today. I was thinking, well, here's an interesting show. I want to do a show on kind of subtlety, because I know a lot of people, I ask them what kind of beers they're into, and they say, oh, I like double IPAs and imperial stouts. And I love those beers. But, you know, those are, from that standpoint, I think there's other areas that people can kind of branch out into. The thing about those two styles is that there's so much there kind of pounding you in the face that it's, you know, in a way easy to love. Easy to love or easy to hate. But with subtleties, you really have to kind of sit there and think about what you're doing. And for some people who are really getting to beer, that can be a really fun and enjoyable thing. And I think this is a great beer to kind of represent that. Very happy I picked this up. I've been 2 for 2 for the kind of the blind picking up beers from the store. I'm gonna go 94 with this beer. I'm curious to see how fresh it would be different. I don't know if I would like it more. I might like it even more. I might like it in a different way equally. But as it is at 100 days for a hoppy pale, I'm very, very, very happy with it. Really clean, lovely beer. Definitely going to be keeping my eye out for Maine Beer Company. I recommend you guys do too. They're doing some cool stuff, and they've got a kind of a cool philosophy and a cool way of doing it. So that's about it. Really quick show. Thank you guys, as always, for watching and commenting. Some really great comments you guys have been emailing to me. I appreciate it very, very much. It means a lot to me when you guys send me that sort of thing. Who knows, Margaret might be back in the next episode. Don't know, not quite sure. She's still out in Delaware at this point. But that's it, guys. I have got to go. Got some chores to do before the wife comes home. I can't let her see what a hellhole the place has become, to be honest. I've got to go clean from here to here, and from here to here is about the only kind of clean area in the house right now, but it has to be somewhat spick and span by the time she gets home. It doesn't have to be, but I want to do that for her, and so that's what I got to go. But I've got the right beer to do it with. I'll top myself off, guys, before I head out of here. I can see the second pour is a little bit hazier, quite a bit more yeast in there, but that's fine. What a nice looking beer. I'm just rambling at this point, but guys, again, guys and gals, thank you so much. I'll be seeing you again, but until then, I've got some great beer to enjoy, and hopefully you do too.